I want to start today's video by letting you know that there has been a bit of a change of plans. In one of the recent episodes of this series, I don't remember if it was the last one or the one before it, I mentioned that my goal was going to be to get everything into Belfast that Belfast wanted. And unfortunately, I am not going to be doing that. And to be totally honest with you, the reason I'm not doing that is because this sounds stupid, but sitting down to play this game for this series is giving me a weird sense of anxiety. Not because I'm anxious about playing a video game, that would be ridiculous, but more so because I'm being very critical of myself and I can't seem to shake that feeling. I know that sounds dumb, but we've kind of done everything, you know? I mean, there's a lot of stuff we can optimize, but that's not particularly exciting. Yeah, we don't have a ton of money, but we've kind of done everything we can do. There is still some stuff to unlock. There are still some things we can do, and there are some things we're going to do today that I'm really excited about. But I feel like outside of all of that, I'm doing myself a disservice, I'm doing the channel a disservice, and I'm doing you a disservice because I'm a little bit bored and I don't want to drag this out. I don't want to fake it. I just want to be honest with you and say, let's have one more great episode today. Let's do some fun things today. Let's spend a bunch of money today, optimize some things, and then call it a day on Transport Fever 2. Because let's be honest, Transport Fever 3 is kind of just around the corner. Now, in saying all of that, I do want to stick with Belfast for a little bit because I have something in mind that I think could be kind of interesting for Belfast, and it's something that we've talked about before. Specifically, I want to start taking some trains from Belfast to Dundalk, to Dublin, maybe down to Waterford, but probably not. And I want to get started here in Belfast with a bit of a reconstruction of this entire neighborhood. So what we're going to do is go in here. We are going to take out the Green and Manor Road from this line because that entire neighborhood is going to be getting bulldozed. And honestly, a lot of this is going away because I got to do a lot of terrain editing in here. And I also kind of need to be careful with just how much I'm doing here because we really don't have that much money. And we're going to be spending millions upon millions of dollars removing buildings that have built up in here, which isn't really ideal, but it is necessary for what I'm trying to do. So this road is all going to go away. I have unfortunately got some of my vehicles stuck in there. So let's go ahead and just do a little something like this, so I can send them up that way. And then what we'll do is go in with a flatten tool, a nice big brush, a nice strong brush, and a nice round brush. And I want a bunch of land right here that is the same height as that bus station, because my plan here is to essentially go in, build a little terminus train station that's going to be connected to this bus station. I want to have a perfect little corner here where this is going to connect, and we actually have those connections over to the bus station as well. So we'll go a little bit closer just because we can. I think right about there is going to be perfect. And then what we do is we go in, we get our building, we get our passenger terminus station, high speed, 240 meters with catenaries and 2 tracks, and it's going to live right there. Now, to be clear, I'm going to be, again, honest with you. I have tested this a little bit because I wasn't sure this was going to work. And what we're going to end up with is a bit of a bridge going towards the airport, but that's okay because eventually we can turn around the airport and change the direction that the planes approach from. So it's not going to be, well, I mean, I would say it's not going to be sketchy. It's going to be sketchy. It's going to be a little bit, but it'll be fine. I'm pretty sure. I think we'll manage to sort of pull this off. Now, what I would like to do is just make sure this is all as flat as it can be, because I do want to put some roads alongside the train station here. So what we'll do is bring this guy out, and I want to get it to go, I want to say to about there, but I'm slightly tempted to bring it back a bit because maybe we could connect this down to this avenue. I'm not 100% sure if this is a good idea. It might be a little bit steep. It might be a little bit silly. It does look, that is pretty steep, but you know what? I kind of want to do it. I do. I kind of want to do it. I kind of like the idea that this is going to be a little neighborhood. And then on this side of things, kind of the same thing. I want to put a road that goes down here. Obviously, it doesn't really work unless we swap it out for something thinner. But again, it gives us a nice sort of line alongside the train station, which I think is fantastic. We can bring it through here as well. And that gives us a little something to work with. And then I kind of just need to smooth all of this out and start to put things back together. Now for this space, I mean, it's relatively steep. That is an unreasonably steep road right there. I'm not 100% sure what we're going to do with it, but I'm hopeful. Hopeful is definitely the word I'm going to choose here. I'm hopeful that I can get away with something like this. Does that look? No, is the answer. It does not look. It does not look anything. Ooh, I don't want to get rid of all these roads, but I think we're going to have to. I think at least that one can go. And then maybe if I could get this in here, does that look a little bit better? I think it does. I think that's what we're going to go for right there. And then on this side, unfortunately, these buildings need to go away. Oh, we're bulldozing so much here. We're bulldozing so much here, and I don't know that I love it, but it's fine. We'll bring this down to about that spot, and we can hit this with a smoothing brush as well, which I think is totally fine. This road is just going to sort of stay where it is. This little road down here, I'm kind of okay with. I think that'll be totally fine. And I think a lot of this space is just going to be, I want to say a little something like this guy. And then we bring it over and straight through here. And it's going to mess with these roads that we've just built. I will admit I don't. Oh, we could do that though. I hadn't thought about doing that, but you know, I think that's okay. I mean, again, it's not going to be perfect, but the terrain editing in this game, the road layouts in this game, it's not really designed to be perfect. It's not that kind of game. So I think we can get away with this. And I think down here, I'm wondering, can I do like a little triangle thing at the bottom here? I totally can, just to sort of fill in that space and give some room for things to build in there, which I think is kind of neat. So we'll go ahead and smooth that out as well. And then this area, I think, to be totally honest, is going to be going down to about here. I want to say we want to go across a little bit, or maybe do we want to just sort of line up with this road? That might be better. Okay, so before we let things run again, what I would like to do is go in here and figure out some new bus stops. So I think we could go down here with a little bus stop for this sort of neighborhood. We have one sort of going up in here, and I do want to see what the bus line is doing right now. So it goes up that way. I suppose we could do one down here, or even sort of in this space, and maybe that right there is going to be a bus road. I think that could be kind of cool. So we'll have the buses go out. We'll obviously have them come down here as well. So we'll manage the line, and then we want it to go here. We want it to go here, and then up into this space. And that should be totally fine as far as I'm concerned. We do have one that's looping back here, which I don't necessarily love. So I think stop number 8 is, well, does stop number 8 need to come out? It maybe doesn't. What if we were to go in and just change this up a little bit further with a stop, say, right about there, and a stop, say, right about there. And then we say that after stop number 8 on this line, we want to go and add a few more. So after the drive, we want to go into here, and then we want to go up this way again. And then it sort of loops back on itself in a way that I think looks pretty decent. I think that works. It absolutely does. So that'll let people get around that neighborhood, which is great. The final thing to do is just lock all of these roads, make sure that all of them are mine. I don't want anything building on this. I don't want anything attaching to this. I just want buildings in here. That's all I'm interested in. So all of these are going to be mine. And then we need to figure out a train station in Dundalk. And then obviously the ridiculous connection between this station, which I think we're going to rename. This is Grand Central Station. I think we're just going to call this Grand Central Station as well, because it's only going to show up in train lines. So this is all considered part of Grand Central Station in Belfast. And I think this is okay. Now, Dundalk is where things are going to get expensive, because there are so many roads and buildings that need to come out of here. This one's 1.6 million just to get rid of that one building, 600,000 to get rid of that building. It's a lot of money. It is a ridiculous amount of money. I kind of want to get rid of this road as well. Not that we need to, but I just want to tidy it up a little bit because that's kind of important to me. I also like the idea that this is going to be a main road because this is the road that the train station is going to be built on. So we'll go ahead and make this a little bit wider just because I can. And then very simply, we're going in here with a passenger train station. It's going right on that intersection. This is important that it's here because we can highlight, we can see that the bus station's highlighted. So there is that overlap between these guys. It's going to live right about there. And then I want to bring it through this space. Now, what I could do to save a little bit of money is just immediately go underground. But it's me. And I don't necessarily want to do that. I have not been the most efficient with this entire series so far, so there's not really any reason I should start doing that right now. That's kind of my opinion. So what we'll do is keep the train line visible until about this point. So we are going to go underground. We're just being a little bit silly about it is what we're doing. We are going to have to go underground and then come back above ground around here to get over to Belfast. But for this part, I want to be able to see the train. So we'll go ahead, we'll get the flatten tool, we'll bring all this down to about that height. We are going to have to take out so many buildings here, which is going to cost so much money to do. But that does give us this beautiful space to work with, which is exactly what we're looking for. We'll bring this out to, I'm going to say about here. And then we want to go underground with it pretty much right away. So we want to hold shift and drag this down. And then hopefully dragging this out, it absolutely does give us the tunnel that we're looking for in pretty much exactly the spot I was hoping for as well. So what we can do is bring this guy through, line it up right about there, and that gives us our train tunnel in the perfect spot. So this road here was obviously kind of important. I do want to put that back in here. And so the way we'll do that is take this guy out, take this out, which is again, a lot of buildings going away, take this out. And then we can flatten across here. That was smoothing. That was not flattening. Flatten across here just like so. We can go in with a teeny tiny little road, a little something like this, just so we have something that connects together. And I want to make sure this is nice and level. So bring this up to about that height. I think that's pretty solid. It looks fine by me. And then all I need to do is, how do I want to do this? I'm going to bring these guys back as well. Again, a ton of money being spent to make this happen, but I can just go ahead and do something like this, which actually did not do what I was hoping it was going to do. Those roads did need to go away anyway, but the slopes on these guys really haven't worked out. So we'll just sort of redo this, and keeping that connection right there is really important. So that's totally fine. On this side, we want to do exactly the same thing, sort of bring this through so it's nice and level. And then I think what we'll do is take out this entire road, which I know is, it's a ton of money to get rid of all these buildings. But what I can do here is just go ahead and reconnect this guy so that it also happens to, maintain that connection, which I think is quite important. Then this bit of road is just going to be upgraded into a 6-lane road. It is still a good looking bridge, and that seems fine. That gives us our bridge back through Dundalk. It gives us our train line. It maintains this connection, and what we can do here is just bring this road back across for my my buses, which admittedly, it does make the ramp look a little bit terrible, but I think that's okay. I think we can deal with that. I also think I'm going to flatten, or smooth rather, all of this out a little bit and try to get that road connection back in. So we'll do a little stub of a road right there, a tiny little bit of road right about there. And hopefully I can S-bend around to these. I apparently can't. So we'll do this, and we'll do not that. We'll do still not that. We'll do something like that, which I think looks totally fine. And that's essentially the train line for the middle of Dundalk. We probably didn't need to take out quite as many buildings as I did, but I think it's okay. I think we can make this work. We still have $43.8 million, which is totally fine. What I would like to do is make sure all of these roads are owned by me, make sure this is a bus lane as well. Maybe this one too. I don't know if it needs to be. Do we have any buses that go across there? We actually do. I think we can get away with that not being a bus lane. I do want to make sure that I own all of this though. Again, just to make sure that nothing builds on any of these roads I've put in here. Nothing interrupts my train line. This road is probably going to go away at some point. We're not doing a level crossing. We're going to go underneath this avenue. But first things first, we need to figure out how this is going to connect to Belfast. So we're going to have to get rid of more houses. That's kind of step one with this. Step two is more houses again. Step two is actually going to be flattening the terrain, essentially. We're going to go over this road to start with. This is kind of the easy first step of this whole thing. I don't know how many steps there are. I keep, every time I mention steps, there's a different number of steps and we're on a different one. Basically, what I want to do is go across here, and this is going to be our sort of initial little bridge, which we can totally do, but I need it to be high speed. So it's going to be this guy. Or maybe it's not. It's going to be this guy. Yeah, that one works. So we're going to do this. We'll say parallel tracks. So hopefully it builds all of it, which it, yeah, that's not quite what I was looking for. That's definitely not the right set of tracks right there. Let's try that again. We'll turn off parallel tracks just to make sure it works. And that seems fine. That's pretty solid. I think that's a good spot. I would like to bring this back a little bit, because essentially what we're going to have to do is go like this. We're going the entire way around here, and we need to try and avoid the airport, which is going to be easier said than done. It's just that simple. It's going to be easier said than it's done. Let's get a little bit of a flat chunk of terrain right here. I think it needs to be about level with the road. And this is hopefully going to give me space to do some kind of tunnel, which I think is going to need to go sort of this way, is my thinking. It is going to need to go underground, obviously. It is going to have to be a tunnel. And I think that's probably fine. Again, if we sort of go down, we kind of need this to, there we go. So that's what I'm looking for, is a little bit of tunnel. We'll go ahead and make that parallel. It apparently didn't want to be parallel. That's fine. I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's just see if I can connect this together like it is. And apparently I can, which is sort of amazing. This is why it's sketchy, by the way. I can lower it, but not by much. And yeah, this is why this is particularly sketchy. I don't know. I don't know how you feel about this, but yeah, this is what we're doing, and this is how we're doing it, apparently. Now, I did mention we can turn the planes around, and that is something we're going to do. So basically, we want to use this guy to change the direction that the flights approach from. So this little bit of road, unfortunately, has to go away. But this does make the airport a little bit less terrifying. The planes take off in the direction of the bridge. They pull up pretty steeply long before they get there. So it does, you know, while it still looks terrifying, and while it's still a degree of sketchy that I probably shouldn't be okay with, it works, and that's all I need it to do. Now, obviously, the train's going to be very, very slow coming through this little bend right here. I'm honestly okay with that. It's never going to be a super high-speed section of track. It's not really long enough to be high-speed anyway, but I'm hoping it's going to be popular, and man, this... It's such a mess. It is such a mess. Now, for the Dublin side of things, it's kind of a similar story. We want to clear out a chunk of land here. I want to get rid of this road, and my thinking is we're doing another terminus station down here. We're not going to go down to Waterford. This is about where I want to put this thing. So we need to rotate. There we go. We need to clear out some roads. Now, unfortunately, this is this road is very much in the way. So what we can do is either bring, well, actually, yeah, that road's always going to be in the way now that I think about it. Yeah, this road needs to go. I was going to say we could do something else, but what I think we'll do is just put a one-way system around Dublin, and that'll be fine. So essentially, our train station is going to go in the middle of this road so we can get some things building either side. 5.8 million to bulldoze those buildings is a ton of money. And I'm also thinking that actually bulldoze that for a second, because this road does not go in a straight line, and that does slightly bother me. We'll take, I hate to get rid of all of that. Let's try and avoid spending that much money, because we don't really need to. I just need to take this part out. And then what I want to do is have this road perfectly perpendicular to that avenue. And then we'll sort of continue this up a little bit to, well, actually, no, we're going to continue this in a bit more of a straight line to about there, and then we'll curve it over, which is fine. We're never really going to be looking at this all that closely, so we'll just put all of this back in here. And then we'll put our train station back in the middle. And again, it's relatively perpendicular to this avenue, which is what we're looking for. And then I think for Dublin, to be honest, do I want to see the trains? Is it important to me that I see the trains? Does it matter that yeah, I want to see the trains. I want to see I do. I want to see the trains for a little bit. I know I don't need to. I know the game isn't about that, but I want to see the trains, man. They look cool. It's going to be cool having trains sort of running, not under, I want to see them. All right. That's where I'm at with this. It's that simple. I'm done with excuses. I want to see the trains. It's the same as city skylines. It's why I don't love using subways. I like to see the things moving around. I think it looks cool. It's that simple. And there we go. We have this train line. It sort of goes across, goes underground. It is perfectly fine. Some of these roads have been changed into one-way roads so that we have traffic sort of flowing around the station. And here's the fun part of this project. Here's the part that I'm sort of most excited about. I want to have the trains visible underneath this roundabout, which is completely unnecessary. It is so unnecessary, in fact, but I want to do it because I think it's going to look cool. So we're going to go down a little bit of a distance right here. I want to say to about there to start with, and we're going to flatten this terrain. I think that'll be low enough for what I want to do. And I just need a good amount of terrain to work with here because we're going to be essentially elevating the roundabout. The roundabout's going to be a bunch of bridges now, at least on this side, so that we can see the train. It's kind of that simple. That's basically where I'm at with this, is I want to see the train as much as I possibly can, so I'm going to see the train as much as I possibly can. So we'll bring this out right about here. We'll do parallel tracks and see if that happens to work, which it didn't. That's totally fine. You bring it to about here. And then I'm going to need to go through and essentially rebuild some chunks of this roundabout. So we flatten all of this terrain. And then we want to bring the highway back in here. So we want to do something like this, which I think looks fine. We can have it be this bridge right here. Same thing on this side. We want to flatten all of this out and then bring this out to about there and around, swapping it out for the same type of road, which I think is that one. Yeah, that looks a little weird, but I think we can make that work. And then we have this little bit in the middle that we're going to have to do something with. So let me do this road through here just so we have a bit of a guideline. Let me take all of this out. Let me take out all of this. I think this needs to go as well. And we want to flatten this terrain too. And so now we have this partially elevated roundabout. And I think that looks totally fine. I think we can work with this. We just need to bring it through here and connect it to this station. So this road here is going to go away. And I just want to see what happens if I bring some tracks out and try to do this right here. And that actually, I mean, that works perfectly. I am completely fine with that. This obviously sinks down, which I don't necessarily love, but this road is, we can get rid of that. We'll do a bridge is what we'll do. We'll do some kind of bridge. We'll bring this out a little bit. In fact, you know what? We will just run this straight through. We have it perfect right there. It actually raises up, which I don't know that I love that. Can I lower that down a little bit just so we get the catenaries not clipping through the bridge? I think that might look a little bit better. In fact, can we go something like this? I think is pretty good. And that also gives us a bit more depth over here for a bridge, which I think is fine. So yeah, I think that'll be okay. I think we can work with this. I think we'll go ahead and approve that build. We'll bring this one through as well and go to about there, which again is kind of perfect. And then all we need to do is, like I said, a little bit of a bridge in here. So if I take this out and maybe take this back a little bit, I'm sort of wondering if it's going to just let me do this nice and simply. And naturally it isn't. If I raise this up, is it going to let me do a bridge? Not really, unfortunately. If I swap this out, does it let me do a bridge? It still doesn't. Can I get any type of bridge in here whatsoever? Apparently not. And there we go. We have everything in here that we need for this new line. We even have a little train depot right there between Dublin and Dundalk, which connects underground in Dublin to let the trains get onto the line. The only thing we don't have enough of right now is money. The money that would be needed to actually buy the train. We are down at 2 million right now, although I will say we are still making a ton of money from a bunch of different lines. It's just that some of them, such as Liverpool Bricks delivery, is losing a ton of money. Liverpool Machines is losing a ton of money, but we're up to 13 million at the minute. Look, how would I best describe this? What's happening is that the game has slowed down massively. We've talked about this. The game is running at a crawl. I can speed things up if I want to. It doesn't really run faster. That's just the simulation speed. There's been theories that getting rid of the trees might fix it. It doesn't. So I'm still playing this as though the sim speed is what it was when we started. It isn't. And as a result of that, the game, I'm spending money quicker than we're making money. It's a me issue. It's not, look, it'll be fine. We will have enough money for the train. I'm not taking out a loan. We'll get this up and running. The line is in here already. It goes Belfast, Dundalk, Dublin, Dundalk, back to Belfast. It'll be perfect. It'll be amazing. We have good connections to everything in here. I've been very, very particular with my locations so that the train station in Dublin has the overlap with the bus station. I think that's really important. Obviously, we did the same thing in Dundalk as well. It does not have an overlap with the bus station right now. Interesting. Okay. Well, okay, let's let's do something about that. Let's do a road right here, and let's swap it out for the smaller one. And then what we'll do is a little bit of road right here, and we'll do a little bit of road. Do I want to go parallel with the tracks? Does that matter to me? I don't know if it does, but it might look kind of cool just having like a little road down here for some reason or another. I don't think anything's going to build on it though, which is unfortunate. It would be cool if it did. We can do this though, I suppose. And then we'll do a little road that comes up like this. And that's fine. That's our little road. Now, the reason I wanted to do this is because we can go and configure this guy with some side entrances so that we actually have space for people to get into the station. And now it does have the overlap that we were looking for, which is amazing. Now, what I would like to see is whether or not any of the Dundalk loops could be set up to sort of go that way. It doesn't really look like it. We do have this one, which is looping around in kind of a weird way right now. So I wonder if we should try and do a little something like this. We can put a little bus and tram stop, say there, and we'll do another one there just to sort of spread them out a little bit. We can manage this line, and after stop number 1, we want it to go to the station, and that'll be fine. It now loops around again in kind of a weird way. Let's take out stop number 13. Let's take out the waypoint as well, which has helped a little bit. Take out stop number 13, and that also sort of helped a little bit. It is definitely looping around in ways that are a little bit weird. But after George Street, I think we actually could bring it down here if we do it properly. So George Street to here is not going to the right place. It's because it's a one-way. It's not a one-way road. If I just swap it to platform 1, it is now going back that way. If after George Street it goes to here, does that look better? Yeah, that's what we're looking for right there. That's pretty good. I like that a lot. I think that's pretty cool. So you can potentially avoid going to the main bus station completely if you... Oh, I love that. Okay, yeah, no, I'm very, very happy with that. Okay, so now we have $32 million, which is enough to get one intercity 125. Now, if I wanted to, I could go cheaper. I could get something like this guy. I could get 2 of these guys if I wanted to. We're not getting a TGV. We could get one of these commuter trains, which has a capacity of 99. It's 81 miles per hour. I think the best thing to do, though, honestly, is going to be the intercity 125. I think this beautiful dark green color is what we're going to go for. We're going to purchase this guy. It is going to go straight onto the Belfast to Dublin line. And I am so excited. I am so excited to see this thing head out and do its thing. I'm just so keen to see people start using this train to get back and forth. Unfortunately, it's going to take forever for the line to populate because, again, the game is running really, really slowly. So we're going to be spending a lot of money to maintain that train, but I'm relatively confident that this will work. And I should mention that the whole reason I want to do this is to reduce the amount of traffic going between Dublin and Dundalk to slowly start clearing out some of these roads, which reminds me, we need to do something about this, which might have to wait until I actually have money. And there we go. The train is well on its way, pulling into Dundalk, where I'm pretty sure people are actually waiting. I don't know if they're waiting to go to Belfast, but I know there are people on. Oh, was that one? No, that was a thing. Where there are 100% people in here. I think they might be waiting to go to Dublin, but there are people in this station waiting to get on a train, which I absolutely love. It makes me very, very happy that this is already starting to get a little bit of use. It's hopefully going to be hugely successful. Just like I said, it's going to take forever to get this up and running properly. And wouldn't you know, there's 9 people waiting in Belfast to go to both Dublin and Dundalk. So people are getting the message. They're already heading out. They're starting to do their thing. This is really cool. I just love this so much. I'm so happy with this. I love being able to see it. I love that it adds some levels to everything. It's really, really cool. Now, I was just about to say we could finally fix that road because we did briefly have $12 million right there, but obviously that's now gone. If we have a look in here, I mean, realistically, we've gone through this before. There's so much money being lost in here. There's so many millions being lost just on different inefficiencies. Cambridge tools to city, Alma fuel to city, Dundalk fuel to city. They're not really moving much. Mullingar fuel to city isn't moving much. This is obviously going to be in here because it's not doing much right now. The oil to plastic situation is interesting though, because part of the problem with that is just traffic in this general area and traffic here in the upper parts of Castle Bar. So I might get a little bit lazy. I don't know necessarily how lazy I'm comfortable getting here, but I'm slightly tempted to just build a road that goes through this hill or around this hill and then connects down to this roundabout directly. So you have a way to go from this roundabout straight to the chemical plant. I think that might be a really good idea. So I think that is something we're going to try and do here. And we'll do it while I have a little bit of money, because this will sort of solve the issue of my trucks getting stuck in traffic up here, which would be lovely. So we'll flatten this terrain a little bit. We don't have to do that, but I like to do that. We'll get this guy right about here. That gives us something nice and asymmetrical for traffic coming in. And then we'll do just a regular old sort of 90-degree bend right here going up the hill a little bit. We are going to do our best to stay relatively level. This is actually going to be kind of expensive because we're doing a lot of terrain work here, but it's fine. I can let the game run while I do this. Whether or not we have money to do it is neither here nor there. But we actually have a little bit of money now, so I'll pause. We'll do this as well. So again, we're sort of hugging we're hugging this hill a little bit is what we're trying to do. We can smooth all of this out a little bit later on. I would like to be parallel to this road just for the sake of symmetry. I don't know that matters. It doesn't really matter, but I would like to be parallel to this road. I just think it's going to look a little bit better. So we'll bring this over to about here, and then we can curve around a little something like this. It's not, I don't know if I like that actually. I don't know that I like that. If we did it this way, is that a little bit better? Yeah, that's a little bit better. And then this part can stay nice and parallel with that road. Again, just for the sake of appearances. That's about the only reason we're really doing this, is to make it look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. And then, like I said, we can parallel with this road as well. That's so unnecessary. It's so unnecessary to do this, but I want to be parallel with these roads. I think it's going to look really good if we are. So bring this out to about here. We'll do a little something like this. We'll do a little something like this. And we'll take out all this extra part. We'll take out this guy. And I want this to be... I don't want that dip in the middle of the road, to be quite honest with you. I want it to be relatively level. So if we do this and I curve it over and around, that looks totally fine by me. And then the goal is going to be to go into this roundabout at essentially a 45-degree angle. I'm not too sure how this is going to work. I haven't really thought that far ahead for this entire thing. I'm not too sure how traffic on the roundabout is going to handle this. But I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping for good things. And we're going to see whether or not that works out is what we're going to do. So that's going to be our little connecting point right there. Take out the excess. We can probably just do a little bend in there and get away with it. A little something like this, I think, is okay. I don't know about this, but I'm willing to give it a shot. And I would hope that my trucks, if we look at my lines, yeah, they are now using that back road to get out there, which is what we want them to do. So let's hit this with a bit of a smoothing brush just to tidy up some of that terrain a little bit. And hopefully that is going to improve the rates of all of my plastic deliveries, which admittedly is only going to make this problem worse. We have a ton of traffic waiting around at this roundabout, mostly just trying to get onto the roundabout, which is weird to me. I'm not really too sure why traffic is so slow getting around this roundabout. It just seems, I don't know, kind of abnormally slow getting around the roundabout. I feel like there's not, well, maybe there's just enough coming up here to block it. I don't really know. I don't really know why this is so slow getting around here. It might just be that there's a lot of traffic coming through. It's tricky is what it is. It's definitely tricky, and I just don't know what to do with it. I don't want to turn this into like a big intersection because I think it would look dumb, but we might have to turn it into a big intersection. Or, now that I think about it, what if we allowed some traffic to sort of go this way? What if we did something like this, and then we do a little something like this? I really don't know if this is going to be a good idea, but essentially we just have like another little way out of Mullingar that gets you up to that main road, and we hope for the best. I mean, that's a little bit steep. I don't love that, but we'll see what happens. We also have some of my vehicles using that to get out here, which is totally fine by me. I'm not too sure if that's the best thing in the world, but I think it's what we're going to do. I also don't love this connection now that I look at it. I'm not a huge fan of that. So we'll take that out. We'll redo this. We'll make it better. We'll bring this straight up here. And then I'm hoping I can just do a cheeky little S-bend, which we totally can. That looks better to me. Sort of. It doesn't look, well, it looks sort of better. It looks a little bit better. It looks, I'm willing to allow it. If I put some trees in there, we're never going to notice that it's quite as rough looking as it is. And yeah, hide our crimes, basically. That's what we're doing here. All right, so while we have a little bit of money, let's come into this intersection just outside of Dundalk, and let's try to at least improve the flow of traffic around here. It is just going to be a roundabout. I know it's the least interesting way we can do this, but it's, yeah, I just don't see, I don't see this game's road builder really working with me. I've got to be honest. So I mentioned at the start of the video, right? I mentioned that there were sort of a handful of reasons that I'm sort of wanting to wrap this up and do some other things. The road builder is honestly one of them. I've been dabbling a little bit in City Skylines 2 again recently, and I've looked at some other city builders that are coming out, and I don't want to criticize. I am not under in any way, shape, or form trying to criticize Transport Fever. I love this game. I have about as many hours in this as I do City Skylines 2, and that's more criticism of City Skylines 2 than it is anyway. My point is, I love this game, but it is a product of its time. It is a little bit older these days. The road builder is not amazing. The lane management is non-existent. Traffic is a little dumb. I mean, it's not, well, no, traffic is Well, yeah, it is. It is dumb, but it's intentionally dumb because it's like it takes the path of least resistance, which is, well, sort of. I don't look. I want to do more with. I want to be able to do more with the roads in this game. I just don't have that option. The way the roads are laid out is weird. The scale of this map. We've talked about the scale problem as well before. Look, I don't want to get into a bunch of excuses. I just think now is like the right time to be like, hey, let's put Transport Fever 2 to bed, because I also want to go and play some other stuff. And this series is kind of like, it's looming over me like a proverbial sword of Damocles. It's just constantly there, like, you better not move on to Manor Lords. You better not touch Town to City. You better not do, what was the other one? The new Anno, because you haven't finished Transport Fever yet. I don't know why I've got into that headspace with this, but it has genuinely been like this weird voice in my head that's like, hey, you better finish that one. Better not abandon another Transport Fever 2 series. Okay, so I want to come back to Grand Central Station in Belfast just to see how things are doing, and we have 60 people waiting in Belfast. We have 37 wanting to go to Dublin, 23 to Dundalk. We have 76 people on board the train right now, which is amazing, and that makes me so happy. And this has me kind of thinking about that goods problem that we've been having with my trucks getting stuck in traffic, and I'm kind of wondering if it might be worth setting up a cargo train line to go into the other Belfast train station to bring goods to Belfast, and then we just bring them from the station, the truck yard over there, into Belfast itself. I'm also curious to see how much money we make from 76 passengers coming into Belfast. We're going to be looking at a grand total of $894,000. That is not bad. That is not bad at all. For one train going back and forth, I'm really happy with that. We have a good number of people waiting in Dundalk. We have a good number of people waiting down in Dublin. It's slowly getting there, and that makes me so happy. Now, what I will say is that Mullingar is crazy busy. There's a lot of people wanting to get on this Belfast to Mullingar line, which I think is just pulling into Mullingar right there with 113 people on board. Now, the interesting thing with this is there's 229 people here. Obviously, that train just made, we can see $2.1 million. It's going to fill up and a bunch of people are going to be left behind. So I'm kind of wondering if we maybe want to put another train on that line. I don't think that would be a terrible idea. I don't know if it's going to continue to make a ton of money, but I think it's going to be worthwhile to put that second train on there and just see what happens. Now, that second train is train 30. It is going to be down here. So it's actually going to be going to Belfast first, I think. Yeah, it's going to be going to Belfast first, but that's okay. We have got this one going out already, so we might want to say that this train waits a little bit before it heads to Belfast. We'll see how the spacing ends up looking on those. For now, I want to come up here. Now, traffic is slowly getting around this roundabout. It is backing up like crazy at this roundabout, presumably because of the extra little road that we've put here. Traffic into Castle Bar itself is kind of terrible, which is, well, it is what it is. But what I think I can do is go in here. I think, well, we're broke again. I think what we can do is look at flattening out a little bit of this terrain. We'll put a little road in here. We're going to build a little cargo train station, and I'm hoping it's going to be connected to this guy. And if it is, we're going to move goods to Belfast by means of train. I just think that's going to be a little bit easier to do. So let's have a look and see how this would work. Because what I'd want to do is put a little road right there, and that's all it needs to be. And then for the train station, it's just a cargo terminus station. It's a little expensive, but it would live right there. Is that connected to the factory? It is. Oh, that's perfect. That is perfect. Admittedly, we're not going to have a lot of room to work with here. I could go to the longer station, which I think I might do just because I can, and then we'll go into this track here. We're going to go straight into Belfast. We can have this train just wait down here until it's full with goods and whatnot. But I think this is the way to go. I think this is what we do. So we'll build that guy right there. we could do a road around it. I don't think we need to. I think we'll just smooth that terrain a little bit. And then what I want to do is take out this this signal right here and this signal right here. And then I think what we do is maybe take out these signals too, just to get things to work nicely. Do we come through, or do we go with a straight shot in here? Oh, we're gonna be going uphill actually. That's gonna be interesting. Okay. We'll do this. We'll smooth this out a little bit, and then we'll go and do something like this. What I'm wondering is if I can get away with a little sort of tight curve on this, and it looks like I might be able to, possibly. Ooh, that's gonna be rough. That is gonna be really slow around there, but my thinking is we just get it onto these tracks and we just let it go, right? It gets onto these tracks. It's a very tight turn, but then it just speeds up on its way to Belfast. I think that'll be okay. I think we can work with that. We'll go ahead and put a signal here. We'll put a signal here, and we'll put a signal here as well, just to make sure that traffic is going to be behaving. A little something something here for a crossover, and a little something something here for a crossover. And that's basically all we need. That's the entire thing. So what we can do now is new line from here. It is going to be called Train Cargo Belfast, and it is goods to city. We'll go ahead and make that, I guess, a nice red line, and it can go to either platform here, I think, even though it's just going to be one train for now. I think that's okay. We'll do either platform. It's going in here, and it is going to any of the available cargo platforms to unload its cargo. What we're going to say is at Mullingar Annex, the only thing you're loading up on is going to be goods, and then here in Belfast, you're unloading, which is totally fine. And that's about all we need to do. I mean, well, no, it's not. We need to do we need to do goods into Belfast, now that I think about it. So let's look at the visible lines. We're looking for road cargo, Belfast goods to city. We want to say that it's now going from here instead. And at Belfast West, it is loading up on goods. And that should be totally fine. Now, if we look at this guy, do we have enough terminals for everybody? We actually do, which is great. So let's just sort of spread them out a little bit like that. And that should work. That should now be a means of getting some goods into Belfast by means of train, which will take a little bit of traffic away from here. It isn't going to solve this problem, but it's going to hopefully help with that roundabout just a tiny bit once we get a train in here to actually do this, which obviously we don't have right now. So let's figure out what that train is going to look like. We have about $20 million to play with. So if we go down here, our locomotive is probably going to be this guy, which is reasonably powerful. Although we have this one, which is actually more powerful. I think we'll go with this guy. We're moving goods. So let's do, I don't know. Let's do like a nice dark blue, just because we can, just to change it up a little bit. And then the cargo is goods, which goes in a boxcar. I want to say, I want to make this an IKEA looking train. So I want to go and do 1, 2, 3 boxcars in blue. And I want to do 1, 2, 3 in yellow. And I want to spread them out a little bit. So we kind of have, I mean, it's IKEA / Sweden, right? The IKEA colors are the Sweden colors, but we'll go for something like this. I think that's kind of fun. It's ridiculous looking. It is also $28 million. So we're going to have to wait a second to be able to do this. But I think this will be cool. I think this will be our ridiculous goods train for Belfast. There is an IKEA in Belfast, to be fair. I have been there once in all of my life. I think I went to an IKEA in England before I went to the IKEA that's actually closest to me. And I think I went to an IKEA in Sweden before I went to the IKEA that is actually closest to me. So that probably says something about me. Anyway, we'll go ahead and put this train on that line. It is going to head to Belfast first, which is okay. What I would like to do as well is make sure that at Mullingar Annex, this guy is going to wait an indefinite amount of time before heading out. So it will only leave this station when it is actually full of goods, which I think makes the most sense. Oh, now, interestingly, in other news, the new Belfast to Mullingar train actually has gone down and around to go into Mullingar first, which is perfect. That is exactly what I wanted that to do. So this is hopefully going to work out really well for us. We have some goods getting loaded into this station already, which is also fantastic news. We have the IKEA train on its way. That looks amazing. I love that so much. Oh, that's so good. That looks perfect. And you know something? I'm going to make a slight change to this roundabout just while we're in the neighborhood. I'm going to come off of here. Oh, I'm broke. I'm not doing anything, apparently. I want to do this, essentially. I want to take out this connection to the roundabout. We're going to just sort of redo this little thing so that traffic has to go around it, but then sort of turn off. We could go up here instead if we wanted to, which would, I mean, this would also be an option. I don't think it matters too much. I don't know that having the 5 connections to this roundabout is what's actually slowing us down. That's the thing. I might just be looking for problems where there are none. I just don't entirely understand why traffic is only backing up in like this one lane. It's all determined to get down to this one lane. It's very, well, it's very City Skylines 1 is what it is. So once again, circling back to where we started today, we have our new train line that runs from Belfast through Dundalk, down to Dublin and back. Now, the reason I'm looking at this guy is because I think this is the first time that it's been full. Now, this is it leaving Dublin. It is on its way to Dundalk. And we have got 2 people still left in Dublin waiting to go. Where are they waiting to go right now? 3 people waiting to go to, well, both Dublin and Dundalk and Belfast. So this is good. This is really cool. The fact that this is kind of working and that this is filling up makes me really, really excited and really, really happy. I also want to look up this way and see how we're doing. We have a good number of people in Dundalk and in Belfast. The numbers growing a little bit too. In fact, Belfast in general is really busy with just people moving around, and I love to see that. We have a ton of people wanting to go back and forth from Belfast to Glasgow, so much so that I put another plane on this line. It's only 3 months old. It is this one right about here. All of these planes are full going back and forth because Glasgow, it turns out, also happens to want to go to Belfast. It's very, very busy. It's very much in demand. Also, oh my God, no wonder I'm losing so much money. It really makes sense when you see things like, oh wow. When you see things like this and you realize that some of the lines that have been propping up my industry for generations are no longer working, you start to realize why I'm losing money. It's it makes me a little sad. Is what it does make me a little bit sad to see that, like, you know, some of the older lines are just not working anymore. But we could do something about this. We have a little bit of money. These guys are 51 years old. We could swap them out for something better if we wanted to. I don't know that I want to. I don't know that I need to. We just could if I wanted to. And also if I had a little bit more money, because I'm pretty sure replacing all these trucks is going to be more expensive than I can afford right now. So I suppose we are about where I want to be for today. I think I'm quite happy with where we've gotten to. I love this new train line. I love that we're making money again. We have a good few $1 million to spend, and that makes me very, very happy indeed. Things aren't perfect, but they're never going to be. And so, yes, that is going to do us for today, and that is going to do us for Transport Fever 2. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. This has been an absolute pleasure, as always. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.